I'm on my way home from a very, very busy weekend. Fireworks, a church supper at the local community hall, the turkey, the pulled pork. Oh, the juices were so savory. I had to cleanse my palate constantly so I could enjoy every morsel, every fiber of every bit of food that I engulfed in my mouth. The preacher had a beautiful sermon. It was so inspiring. It warmed my heart to the point that I'm not even sure what he preached about. But I'm sure it was a beautiful sermon. I get mixed up. I have a friend named Sherman. God love him. Do I ever have a story about him at the church weekend? Well, he cleans this old-fashioned church, and they decided to put on a potluck at the community center to help raise money, to raise the rafters back in the early days when the indigenous people built it. Well, I remember going to that church as a very young, blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy, fresh out of my mother's womb, still wet behind the ears. Oh, I actually still am wet. Oh, gosh, it's kind of disgusting. But anyway, I still remember Sherman, and he was at the church trying to raise all of this money because this church was almost abandoned and hadn't been used for years. And then my friend Mildred called. She's an old deacon of back in the day. Most of her friends have passed on because she's old. Well, when she had called, she said, "Hello, dear. How are you? I have missed you so much, and I'm hoping that you can come to my church supper to help me raise some money for my church. Won't you come, dear? I just need some help to get out of this mattress I've been laying in for a very long time. Oh, dear. Oh, may the good Lord have mercy on me. After Harold died, the money stopped coming. It was so fresh and new then, and I was a new woo bride back in the day, and there was lots of money to be had until Herbert had an accident. He was gone deer hunting and was killed by a moose. God love him, I miss him dearly. He's been gone for, oh dear, 88 years now. We were childhood sweethearts. Anyway, I'm hoping that you can come out and help support the church supper for the roof raising for my old church, and in memory of my late husband, Herbert. Okay, bye, dear. So that's what she said to me, and I said, well, of course I would love to be there, Auntie Great Mildred. So anyway, I went to the church supper. Well, it was the dandiest little place. There was an orchestra. There was even a unicorn, I'm sure it was. And it was dressed like the fields and the areas felt like Eden. I felt as if I was back and there were snakes in the woods. Well, I was a little bit nervous. But anyway, I caught one old man. He didn't know what he was doing. He had Alzheimer's like crazy. And don't you suppose I caught him trying to dip a Bible in with the apples? He was trying to bob for Bibles, he told me. I said, that's not right. You are terrible. That's bobbing for apples, not bobbing for Bibles. So anyway, I helped him out, and he thanked me and said I'd have a crown for myself in heaven. Well, I'm sure that I will. So anyway, we were out in the back forest behind the church trying to clear some of the tropical trees, and my goodness, I'm spitting all over my face. Well, we were back there trying to dig away at all the overgrown bushes so that the sun may ray down from God's heaven into the beautiful old stained glass window in the back of the church. Well, I tell you, we got digging away at this overgrown vine that had been there for 2,000 years, I'm sure. But anyway, we were digging, and I was getting down toward the very bottom of it, and I was nervously excited to find that there was a snake's nest down there, and it was laying eggs under the church's steps in the back. I was nervous. I didn't know what to do. So I gathered the eggs, and I said, I'll put those in for the church supper. I'm sure nobody would notice any different. Well, don't you suppose Aunt Mildred came to the church supper, and I made devil's eggs out of these snake eggs I found under the church steps, under this overgrown vine. Well, she was so delighted. I don't know what was in those eggs. Well, they were deviled eggs, but I felt so wonderful because Mildred was so exuberant that she felt as if she was a young woman again. I must go and gather those eggs again and share them with the community. We all need a little exuberance in my life, and I must admit I might have had one or two today. Well, maybe like a dozen, but who's really counting? So don't forget my deviled eggs.